Hi folks, and welcome back to the Granby Gamer channel. That's it, you guessed it. This is that channel where you get to see this old git talk about modern games. So for today's in-car comments, well, finally I'm back. I haven't done a video for so long. Well, actually I have. I've recorded quite a few, but I just haven't uploaded them. I've gone, no, I'll leave that one. So I have been recording, I just haven't been uploading. So I just wanted to talk about what is going on in the world of VR at the minute. You probably all heard the news about Meta. They've cancelled 4 studios. I think they're closing down. One of those studios is actually the studio that made the Deadpool game that recently came out. And literally, they're closing the studio straight down. So I was quite gobsmacked at that. I mean, I haven't picked up the Deadpool game yet. To me, you know, I like the Deadpool movies. The game, I don't know, the things I'd heard about it, some of the little niggles, wasn't quite sure, and I didn't really want to pay nearly 40 quid for it. So I wasn't that fussed. I think when it comes down, maybe when it's on a deep sale, I'll pick it up and give it a go. But obviously it hasn't sold as well as they thought because they're closing that studio down. Like I say, they're closing 4 studios down in total. Games are being cancelled that are being worked on. One of which I'm really, really gutted about, and that is Batman Arkham Shadow 2. Apparently they were working on that. Now that's been cancelled. Which is, yeah, like I say, I was really gutted about that one. So everybody's obviously panicking of what's going on in the world of VR. I'm seeing other studios being closed down, even a studio, Mighty Eyes, that did the great game Wanderer Fragments of Fate on PSVR 2. It was obviously on PSVR 1 originally, and then they did loads of updates to it, and they wanted to put in combat, which doesn't work very well. Well, they had their roadmap for 2025 and they didn't even complete that last year, and then they put out a statement a week or so ago saying, you know, basically things aren't great. They're not sure whether they're even going to finish this roadmap. So they look like they're in a bit of trouble as well, which is such a shame. That game, I played probably about half of it, and then I put it down. I thought, well, no, they're doing the roadmap. I'll wait. Maybe I might as well just jump back in now and finish it. But that to me is a great game. So it's sad to hear they're in trouble. So many studios are in trouble. You know, it seems to be, for me, with the world of VR, it was obviously starting to pick up. Big games were being developed for it. You know, people were throwing a lot of money at it, but it just seems like it's not paying off for so many devs. It's just not paying off. You know, look at Meta. They've put more headsets out into the wild than anybody else. They've sold so many headsets, but where I believe they've shot themselves in the foot and done damage to the world of VR is by just pushing forward with all these VR worlds, you know, Horizon Worlds, free to play slop that they put out there. So yeah, loads of kids have got headsets, but they're already training them. Don't worry about buying games. You don't need to be buying games. You just play this free to play slop we pump out, you know, or just go in the Horizon Worlds. And I jumped in a Horizon World once. I think it was called Lightsaber World or something like that. And as soon as I got in there was a million squeakers in my ear holes. And I'm like, no, that's not for me. That was it. I never went in a world again. You know, I know people say, oh, there are some good adult worlds. But they're just not really for me, I don't think. I prefer playing good, solid games. So like I say, I think Meta really shot themselves in the foot here. It seems like they don't care about gaming. They just want to sell those headsets. Here's some free-to-play rubbish. Just get on with that. It reminds me very much of Xbox and Game Pass. You know, that's just going down the pan as far as I can see. Because, again, they taught gamers, you don't need to buy games. That's so old-fashioned. Yeah, don't worry about that. Just wait for it to come on Game Pass. You know, how many times have you heard people say that in comments, saying, no, I'll just wait for this to come out on Game Pass? So again, you're training people to not buy games, not value games. I mean, I know for one that when I get a game free, you know, I wouldn't give it, if I'm not enjoying it, I'll instantly ditch it. you know, years ago, you'd get a game, you'd pay for it, you'd pay 50 quid or whatever. And even if you're not too keen on it, because you've invested that money, you'll try your best to get your money's worth, unless you really hate it. But when games are free, like on PS Plus, many games on PS Plus, I've downloaded them, jumped in, 5 minutes later, jumped straight back out again, delete. Whilst if I'd have had to have paid for it, then I would have probably put some more time and effort into it. But hey, and I'm sure that's the same for a lot of us. When it's free, you don't value it as much. When you pay for it, you do. So yeah, the VR world is, I don't know, it's in a bit of a rocky situation at the minute. It all seems to be going the wrong way, which is down. Like I say, more and more devs seem to be not wanting to push forwards with putting time and effort into VR games when they just don't get the return. You know, this is the problem. VR is still trying to grow. It's not as popular, of course, as normal flat screen gaming. So it's harder for devs to make their money. And when the games can't even be seen on the Meta Store because the Meta Store is such a mess, how are they supposed to sell them? You know, it's like me. I don't go in and try and find games. No, I'll go on YouTube and see people's lists of the top 25 games or whatever for the Quest or the PSVR 2, mainly the Quest, because I can't find anything on their damn store. And that's how I get my games. Pointless trying to search. At least the PSVR 2 store, what it is, at least you can find the games much easier, much easier. And that's the way it should be with Meta. They should have been pushing forward all the games you got to pay for, not the free-to-play slop. So I don't know where the world of VR is going to be in the next sort of 12 months. I think it's going to carry on shrinking. And I don't know. I mean, we're not even getting, as far as I can see so far, we're not even getting Resi 9 VR mode. I'm just hoping and praying that it does come out eventually. But again, unless Sony throws them a load of money, it's unlikely Capcom are going to do it off their own back, are they? We know for Resi 4 Remake and Resi 8, Sony chucked a load of money at Capcom here, make a VR mode for us. But I don't think, I don't think that's going to happen this time, which will be a great shame. Because for me, once you played Resi games in VR, like Resi 7, 4 and 8, there's no going back to playing them on flat screen. It's just such a different experience. Like all horror games, you play them flat compared to VR, and it's just, there's no comparison. You know, VR flat screen horror games used to spook me. I used to get spooked by them, but once I jumped into playing horror games in VR, that's on another level. So you go back to playing it on flat screen, it's like, yeah, it really is. It just doesn't have the same effect anymore. So I'm gutted about that for Resi 9, but again, that's maybe just a sign of the times. It feels to me like we're going to have a big gaming crash. It's going to hit VR first, then mainstream gaming. You know, a bit like 83, when the one single game literally collapsed the gaming industry, which, if you remember back then, was E.T. I think they were burying boxes and boxes of cartridges in the desert to just get rid of this game. But I think something's gonna happen like that with the world of VR. I do think it's going to shrink before it grows again. Let's see what happens when the Steam frame comes out. Maybe that's going to make a big difference to the world of VR, because there are a lot of us out there who are happy to pay premium money for the kit and then pay premium money for the games if they're good games. So let's see what happens when the Steam frame comes out. I more than likely will pick one up, but first of all, I want to see what games is going to be on it, to be honest. If it means I'm going to be playing the same sort of games that I've already got on Quest and PSVR 2, then I can't see there being a lot of point. But if it's going to come along with some good games at launch, then it may be a purchase for me. But we'll have to see. I don't even know the cost. All sorts of figures flying around that it's going to be anywhere between 600 quid to £1,000. A lot of people saying it's going to be around 800. So again, we just got to wait and see. But what do you think, folks? What do you think about what's happening in the world of VR? Are you worried about it? I'm I am and I'm not, if that makes sense. What I'm frustrated with is, you know, I'm seeing a lot more just cheap shovelware games coming out, not only on Quest but on PSVR 2. We're getting a lot of those. Okay, they're only a few quid each, but we're seeing more and more of those, and I'm just bored of that. After playing some fantastic games in VR, you sort of, that's your benchmark, isn't it? You want more games like that. You don't want to go backwards and start playing rubbish games. I mean, I see this game just come out called Skyleap. Is it Skyleap? Yeah, Skyleap. Yeah. And it just looks a basic sort of parkour-y type game. Yeah, it just doesn't interest me. So if more and more games like that are going to come out, it's just, they're not for me at all. You know, it feels like I'm going backwards. But I mean, I know graphics aren't everything. Of course they're not. But like I say, when you're used to playing VR games that are really nicely polished, fantastic looking in the headset, yeah. It's like when I play my PSVR 2 a lot and I get used to the graphics in there and the games that I'm playing in there, and then I stick my Quest 3 headset on, it's like, whoa, crikey, I forgot the graphics are nowhere near what they are on PSVR 2. So yeah, I think we're in for a rocky 12 months coming up. I mean, there's only 2 games at the minute that I really want, and that is one, Aces of Thunder, which comes out supposedly next Tuesday, a week today, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. That one I'm really looking forward to as well. But other than that, I can't see anything that I've seen online for this year that I'm massively interested in. But we shall see. We shall see what else gets announced this year. Anyway, folks, let me know down in the comments what you think about what's going on, this turmoil in the world of VR. Are you worried about it? Are you not? What games are you looking forward to coming out this year? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, folks, time for me to head on out. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And share it if you think it's good enough, you think other people will enjoy my video. Please share it. So until next time, folks, I shall see you guys on the other side. Adios.